You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Taste the Mediterranean through March 19th at Whole Foods Market. Save on animal welfare certified bone and beef short ribs, sustainable wild-caught sockeye salmon, and more. Find sales on Parmigiano Reggiano, charcuterie and ground lamb. Grab an olive boule bread from the bakery. Plus, wines from the Mediterranean start at just $8.99. Taste the Mediterranean now at Whole Foods Market. Must be 21 plus. Please drink responsibly.
The world is always on, but you shouldn't be. Put junk sleep to bed. At Mattress Firm's Black Friday Now sale, save up to 60% on Sealy, with queen mattresses starting at $279.99. Talk to a sleep expert today and unjunk your sleep.
And welcome back to Who Did What Now, the history podcast that's not your history class, Bittisode. With me, your content host, Kerry Charlwood, spectacle adorer and reader of books. So, it's the Bittisode with the bits that don't really belong anywhere else. So, I want to talk about something this week, which I talk about all the time and I am unnaturally obsessed with. I don't know why. I actually know why I'm obsessed with this. Because, when I was studying history in college, we were studying American history in the early 20th century. And when it got to the point about American history between the late 19th and early 20th century, it's incredibly depressing. I don't know if you've ever studied. We have slavery, the world wars, the Great Depression, the Holocaust, everything is fucking awful. Even before that, we have, the annihilation of the native people of America. It is fucking atrocious. Studying history, it can really crush you. Especially if you study it from a perspective of people. You care about people, not just, stuff. I saw a thing on TikTok when it's what about your interests makes people think you're interested in something, but you're absolutely fucking not. And honestly, battles. For the most part, I don't give a fuck about battles because generally in history, when people talk about battles, all they care about are names, places, dates. But there's no personhood attached to it. It's all vague and grandiose, and I have no fucking interest in it. I care about people. It's why I usually don't care about the names. So even though I'm really into true crime, I have such trouble remembering the names of serial killers and stuff, because I'm completely disinterested in their names because I think they are irrelevant. What I do think is relevant are the lives they snuffed out, and that's what I'm interested in. That's why I don't give a fuck who Jack the Ripper was. And this has been Who Did What Now, and I have been Kerry Charlwood, ranting host, apparently. So I am obsessed with wine bricks. They're also known as grape bricks and grape blocks. I know what you're thinking. Please quit your jibber jabber and fact me. In fact you, I will, but I gotta get my source on. My first source is the history of North America from 1875 to 1975, which is part of my studies from college. Also, I have vinepair.com, grapecollective.com, and of course, Smithsonian.com. Okay, so prohibition, that thing we all fucking despise, it went into effect on January 16th, 1920. So the Volstead Act, it basically meant that you could not produce and sell alcohol unless it was for sacramental wine for church. Then you were fine. And as we covered in our Prohibition Poisonings episode, the Volstead Act basically states that you cannot produce and sell alcohol for consumption. Unless you're making sacramental wine for churches, that's fine. Otherwise, it's not legal. You can't do that in the US. And you could produce alcohol if it was used for something like wood varnish or paint thinner. Like you could produce ethanol, but just not anything drinkable. So in places like Napa Valley, who were making the majority of America's wine, they faced a wee bit of a dilemma because they couldn't make any fucking wine. The vineyards, they were like, shit. The vineyards had what some might call a conundrum. Their options were either rip up their plants and plant something else in the meantime to try and make money some other way, or leave things as they are, or continue growing grapes and not make anything. Their issues were, because if they destroy their vines, it's going to take them at least a decade once they're replanted to start producing good quality grapes again. So some vineyards, they're like, fuck this for a game of soldiers, we're just tearing everything up, we're going to plant some orchards, we need the money, we need to do something now. Others went for an alternative route. And this is why I love genius out-the-box thinking. So the Volstead Act didn't stop the growing of grapes, just that grapes could not be used in the production of alcohol. So, again, unless it's for sacramental wine, in which case, you're golden, it's fine. So, basically, if somebody grew grapes that they knew were going to be used for alcohol, or someone turned grapes into alcohol, they'd both go to jail. But if the person growing the grapes makes sure, that there's a warning so that people know that these grapes are not to be used for the creation of alcohol, and if they passed from pillar to post enough that you couldn't follow where they came from, it's fine. So the person who grows the grapes can't knowingly know the bootleggers bootlegging the booze. Also, in addition, furthermore, the law also states that, that those who are growing grapes can make juice and juice concentrate. Again, only if these are non-alcoholic. So if they wanted to, the vineyards could still make non-alcoholic wine and also ensured that there was a warning label that said, don't make wine, this is not for wine, then they're good. And so came the creation, ingenuity, outside the box thinking, bish bash bosh, wine bricks, also known as grape bricks, also known as grape blocks. But I like wine bricks best. So, the wine brick. It was basically this block of concentrated grape juice, which, if someone had the intention to, without the grower's knowledge, so with each wine brick.
Being a part of a royal family might seem enticing, but more often than not, it comes at the expense of everything else, like your freedom, your privacy, and sometimes even your head. Wondery's new podcast, Even the Royals, pulls back the curtain on royal families, past and present, from all over the world, to show you the darker side of what it means to be royalty. From icons like Grace Kelly, Oscar-winning actress turned Princess of Monaco, who the world saw as the ultimate good girl. She mastered playing a happy wife and mother, but beneath it all, she was desperately lonely. Grace spent her whole life working towards perfection, and it ultimately cost her her happiness. Or King Ludwig II from Bavaria. He was only 18 when his father died, leaving the crown to him and a duty to rule that he never wanted. He refused to lead, and used the funds from the royal treasury to further his extreme love of opera. But this choice eventually cost him the crown and his life. Follow Even the Royals on the Wondery app, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge Even the Royals ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
There was a little label, a warning label, which basically said, do not dissolve this concentrated grape block in a gallon of water. And absolutely do not under any circumstances leave that jug of water and grape concentrate in a cool cupboard for 21 days or it will turn into wine, and we don't want that to happen. But that wasn't the only warning on the label. Oh no, they made sure to involve the prohibition legislation saying that consuming homemade wine for your personal use, up to 200 gallons of it, is absolutely fine. It's legal, just as long as this wine doesn't leave your house. If it stays inside your house, it's fine. Some of the vineyards that were creating these wine bricks added an extra wee bit. Some companies like Vino Sano, they wanted to be like extra clear and make sure that there was no confusion. So they would even tell them that they were making like a Riesling or a Clara or a Burgundy. And, they should be careful because they don't want to make, this is what could happen if you allow this to ferment. And basically, wine bricks single-handedly save the American wine industry. Because when Prohibition ends, the demand for grapes doesn't fall. Because only a select, because there isn't enough vineyards out there. Because, a lot of the vineyards ripped up their vines. They don't have the grapes. They're not growing them. So the ones that were left, the ones that were doing this, because they were the only ones left, they were the only ones able to produce wine. The wine that was made from the wine bricks wasn't exactly the best of wines, but it did in a pinch. But yeah, thanks to Prohibition, some winemakers got very, very rich. And that is the story of wine bricks. Fucking love wine bricks. It's one of my favourite things in history that doesn't involve, an actual person. Or true crime, which is good. It's nice to have something a little bit lighter after last week's monkey scenario. So, if you liked my retelling of the wine bricks tale, feel free to rate and review. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Say something nice about me. Why don't you? You may as well. I'll love you forever. Thank you for listening to this Bittisode. And this is something I have literally wanted to talk about for so long. So I actually recorded versions of this a couple times, but I lost the recordings. I don't know what I did. They're gone. But anyway, I just love wine bricks. I love wine bricks. I love them so much. But thank you for listening to this story with me. If you want to follow me, I'm doing more stuff on Instagram now just because I feel like it. And so there's going to be some fun history facts, going to be some videos about stuff. I'll probably do an Instagram TV soon. Do a live maybe if you're interested. If you want me to, just let me know. And you can message me and contact me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and I will chat to you then. And with that, I'm going to bid you farewell. Adios, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, my friends. Bye-bye.